Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it. Hey everyone, welcome back. Another Trident Wargaming episode. That's right, some more bolt action, but this time we're doing some Blood Red Skies. So, with me again is the gamer of all games, Mr. Jason. How's it going? That was a strafing run, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Doing good, are you?
Yeah. Keeping it together.
Good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, we've had some good games, I think, I would say, with Blood Red Skies in the past. We haven't played too many of them, but at least against each other, but the ones we have, I've been mainly victorious, I would say.
Yeah, you've been kicking my butt.
So as you can tell, we're doing Blood Red Skies in this episode. We're going to go through a little bit of, I guess, the new book that they had released. Was it Wing Commander, I believe?
Wing Commander.
Yeah. Every time I hear that, I'm thinking like the old Super Nintendo game, Wing Commander.
One of the best games ever made.
Still have them.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to go through a little bit of that book. Jason has mainly kind of gone through it as I haven't really had a chance myself, but probably get some questions rolling and whatnot. So stay tuned and just have a listen and let us know what you guys think. Share your thoughts on the game if you like it, your experiences, and also send us some pictures of your planes. We love seeing that kind of stuff. So definitely throw it on our Facebook or Instagram or on the post when the episode comes out. So
nice.
Yeah. So, but of course, like usual, we'll reel it in a little bit here with our hobby front. Just essentially stuff that we are working on or we've painted up or anything related hobby-wise, really. So I can go first here. Lately, it's been just a big mix of everything. Actually, that's probably my whole hobby experience.
That's all the time, Andy.
And just the big cauldron, mixing it up. Right now, as actually earlier today of the day of this episode, I was working on the terrain for the October event. So I was taking some milliput and making the sandbags around my trenches. So
nice.
Be glad when that's out of the way, so then I can start spraying, getting some other colors on them, and getting them to the level. The only problem with that is I'm actually waiting on the battle mat to come in for it. So because I want to match the colors up to the battle mat. So there's that. Of course, there was Team Yankee miniatures that I was working on, Horse Heresy miniatures. My British bolt action guys are still on my work desk, Shatterpoint, all that stuff. So
nice,
kind of everywhere. But getting some painting in, getting some hobbying in, building terrain, playing games, of course. If any of you guys are into 40K, it's been going well with that. I've had my third game, so a lot of fun. Other than that, same old thing. Keep plugging away, trying to get armies built, painted, on the table. So that's kind of where I am. How about you, Jason?
Well, I've applied paint to models.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have a heart attack right now.
Dun, 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 dun. I've decided I have to do. I'm notorious for like 8 months of inactivity and then binge painting like every spare second I have for a month or two, and then crickets for another 8 months. Which is not very efficient, especially how we roll, where we decide to play every army for every game. You're worse than me. I at least play every army for every game within basically the warlord scope. You play every army for every game.
You actually
period.
listen to the thought that says stop.
Sometimes, yeah.
Where my thought of stop is actually go. So
Whoops. You're colorblind. You can't see the stoplights.
Colorblind, I don't. Yeah. Yeah. No.
So anyway, I started this week. I got a 2-hour timer.
Okay.
So I got the week, the 7 days, Sunday or Monday till Sunday. And I fill up that 2-hour timer with hobby time. Just painting. That's it. It's not a lot, and it might increase, but it's a lot more than 0 hours of hobby time.
You would be surprised.
So
I do an hour on Sunday nights. I mean, obviously I get other time to do stuff too, but just like yourself, I get sidetracked with real life or hooked on a game on the PC, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you'd be surprised, just that 15 minutes of applying a color makes a big difference the next time you go and start painting again, because you're like, oh, awesome, I'm at this stage, I'm almost done, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And once I see progress too, I think part of my problem is I get bogged down because I have so much. It's a question of where to start.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just grabbed the nearest thing and I started. I decided on a 2-hour thing, and I just have my timer on my phone. I just start, stop, and over the course of a week, so there's no excuse, I can find 2 hours in a week, even if I'm sick one day or the kids are crazy or I have to work late or whatever it is. I can make up for it the next day.
Yeah, that's
no worries.
A good plan. It really is. I mean,
hopefully I'll keep you in the loop to see how it goes. So hopefully
I'll message you in the middle of the week.
You got your 2 hours done?
Crack the whip. How much time do you got left?
Yeah.
Send you a little time clock. No, that's great. That's great to hear. Like it's you set yourself a little bit of a standard of wanting to do something, right? So, because I know sometimes like painting these grand armies sometimes can feel like a chore.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And the other thing too is that I'm a player that paints.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a painter that plays. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I like painting, but it's definitely below playing. So it already has second fiddle status. So the spare time where I could be painting, I quite often am gaming instead. So
yeah, no, for sure. And it's like, even, you know, if you guys are watching on YouTube, like I'm going to put up my Horus Heresy librarian jet bike guy, right? And these are just like, they're just basic colors, right? And that was, you know, that was in the 1 hour that I was just adding some colors to it. But then the next step is like a little bit of details, do my AK wash. Next step is the base, and then it's done, right? So it goes a long way. Every little bit that you get, you know. Usually I'm multitasking anyways, but going back to what you said earlier about just picking a project or just picking some models up and painting, that happens a lot to me too, because like I said, I'll have multiple projects on the go. There's even times where like I'm at work and I'm not thinking about work, of course, I'm thinking about gaming, and it's like I'm actually writing down a list. Okay, what's my current project? What do I need to get done? Like, what do I want to work on? Right? Oh, you know what? I want to go paint up Obi-Wan Kenobi today. That's what I'm doing. You know. So, or I'm going to add the brown on these 5 Marines or whatever. Right? So, no, it's good to hear. Hopefully, I'm sure other people do that too. So, it'll be good. It's always better plain painted. That's what Every once in a while we say that around here. So it's nice to see. Speaking of that, the October D-Day event that's happening for Trident Wargaming, it's going to be the first fully painted event that I'm running. So it'll be great to see there. A lot of pictures that will happen. So excited for that.
Sweet. I'm excited. It should be fun.
Yeah. It's been pretty good. I think we have 2 spots left. So
2 allies, right?
Yeah, and a big shout out to Stefan or Steven. I can't remember how he pronounced it. He used to come and play with us, and then he kind of got out, and now he's getting back in. So welcome back if you ever listen to the podcast. And then also returning for that event is someone that we have not seen since before COVID, Mr. Cam Paul.
Oh!
He's coming back with a fury.
Fun.
So that's awesome to hear. Some of the old guard are coming back, right? So
wait a minute, he's on the Axis side?
I think ally side actually.
Ally, okay,
yeah,
good.
Steven's on the Axis. The Axis side's full.
Yeah.
So
that's why I guessed.
Yeah. So there's two ally side slots left. So and that's not even including me playing because I probably won't be playing anyways. So but yeah, super excited. Things are going well. Definitely got to jump and get more things going for it, but we'll make it happen. I got an airbrush that I'll be starting to spray everything with. So
get her done.
Yeah, but that's the hobby front. We'll close it at that. So Blood Red Skies.
I call it Burrs.
BRS. So initially they came out with the second box set with pretty much the basic rules for the game. Then I'm pretty sure they had a couple other PDFs and pamphlets and campaigns that they came out with and stuff as well. I've seen it on their webpage. Their digital section has some stuff. Then they came out with Airstrike.
Yep.
As well. And that was like a more detailed expansion on the main rules, plus other stuff in it as well. Pretty good book.
Yeah, it's like a compendium of all the rules. And there's something like 12 scenarios in there.
Yeah.
And it has the expanded rules for things like attacking ground targets and how flak works, and it also has a little section on kind of combining the McGalley set you could get back in the day.
Oh, that's right.
Although I think it's back again, but combining McGalley in there also, so a little bit with jets and how they work.
Yeah.
And then also a handy thing is it has a list of the doctrine cards and theater cards that you're allowed to use depending on period and country you're playing.
Yeah.
So which is really handy, and I really like that mechanic. It helps mix it up. So the for instance, the Americans in early war, it says 1939 to 1942, but we all know they were late to the party. But so basically 1942 is a lot different, or at least different in quite a bit of ways than the American Army or Air Force in the late war.
Right.
So it's kind of neat to have the two different, card options. And then, of course, the theater cards is dependent on where you're playing, where you set your game. So Northwest Europe, Eastern Europe, Mediterranean, Pacific. So you get different theater card options you can take. And it explains all that, too, which is kind of cool. Handy to have, especially all in one location, and with all the FAQ incorporated up until the point of release.
Yeah.
So all the changes they made from the Battle of Britain set, where you initially got the rules, and the Midway set, the second place you can get the rules. And both play fine if that's all you have is the Battle of Britain set, or you have the Midway set. You could just use those rules in there. They give you a couple of scenarios for each that are kind of that reflect the setting depicted on the box with the planes you get in the box. And that works fine. But if you want to expand beyond that, the Airstrike book is really going to be worth your money. You know, that's where you're going to be able to expand the gameplay beyond
just the basic games. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And then, of course, now they came out with the new book, the Wing Commander book.
Wing.
So what's different with that book that you've noticed right off the bat?
Well, Wing Commander isn't really a rule book.
Okay.
It's like a supplement that allows for the playing of campaigns.
Okay.
So it has a really cool campaign system in it.
Nice.
Where it really adds basically a lot of the elements of an RPG for in between your games. My son and I, Elias, are in the midst of a Battle of Britain campaign in this, using these rules. We were playing one off of website rules a while ago, but as soon as we heard that they were coming out with kind of a more in-depth rule system for it, we stopped. And we're waiting for this. So I picked it up a couple weeks ago, and we just started. So we're finished our second game, and it's pretty intense. Like I'm only in the second game, and I'm worried about my pilots dying. You know, you make different decisions when you're playing the game. So maybe we should start. Before Blood Red Skies is a playing game.
Yeah.
It's fairly simple to play. But there's actually a little bit to master. It's you've played it with me. There is tricks to it. The rules you can learn. I mean, it take a couple pages. It's really quite easy, and everything works off of a 6.
Yeah.
The number of dice you get to throw is different depending on your statistics of your plane and your pilot skill. But it's always just a 6. There's no.
Yeah, and a lot of times in your missions and whatnot, like, it's not necessarily like other games where you're trying to destroy the opponent's units, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's boom chits, which basically every time you get a hit on an enemy plane, you don't have to shoot him down, but you get a hit on him, that side collects a boom chit. And as soon as you have more boom chits than you have planes in the air, that side bugs out. They take off. They get out of dodge because the boom chits represent a weakening of morale of the pilots. Maybe pilots getting wounded, aircraft getting damaged. It's just kind of a changing of various factors that is not appealing to these. To these pilots, and they're going to get out of dodge. They don't want to get shot down.
Yeah.
So I like that mechanic, and very rarely are you playing with even a single or multiple shoot downs, like planes actually going down. Mm-hmm. You can win the game without anybody getting shot down.
Yeah, there's a lot of maneuvering, and also like affecting the opponent's planes as well with the different elevations and whatnot, right? So, you think ahead of when you're looking at your planes that are in combat, the positioning, where am I going to maneuver, cloud cover, can I get behind them, Is he going to be able to shoot back at me if I'm going straight on, right? But then also like, okay, well, this guy's going to be able to activate before this guy. You can set it up where you can force the opponent to come down a level, and now they're able to be attacked, right, by other aircraft and pilots that haven't gone yet. So,
yeah, that's a really cool mechanic. Like, so basically, you have 3 states of being in aerial combat. It's all about energy. So you have an advantage state where basically you're in a better position than most of the planes, right? You're in the best position that you can be in. Then you have a neutral state, and then you have a disadvantaged state. The only way to get shot down is to get hit and fail a maneuver check while in a disadvantaged state. So really, you want to spend your day in the advantage state wherever possible. Plus, you can do thing called a burning advantage. So you can spend an advantage. So you go from, say, advantaged, you'll go down 1 to a neutral state to do an action, which could be up to a 180-degree turn. Basically, you can rip around, do a loopity-loo, or some other, an Immelman turn, some other type maneuver to get advantage on your opponent.
Yeah.
Or you can dive. You can spend energy to get away. You can move an extra 6 inches. And also, the whole time, you have cards that your aircraft have traits. The traits give you cards that you can play during gameplay that can sometimes enhance those abilities. For instance, dive away allows you to add an extra, or make you dive at your plane's speed instead of just the 6. So if your plane moves faster than 6, you get extra movement. So normally you'd move, for example, like a BF 109E, you move 7 inches, but I'm going to dive. So I dive, I get to move 6 inches, but I play that card. Instead of 6, I get to move 7, and then an additional 7. So I can move 14 inches across the table as opposed to other people just moving 7. Now, I burnt advantage. I spent some of that energy to do that, but that might get me in a better position. And really, that's what it is. The game is about building and spending advantage in order to take shots at the enemy airplanes.
Yeah. Try to give you the opportunity to get a chance to apply a boon shit, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
Boon shit, right? So,
boom.
So that's kind of like the basic idea of the game.
Very, very basic. So then back to the book. So the book, the Wing Commander book, is about a campaign system. So you play games, but you choose a nation, and an theater, an era, essentially, where you're going to play. We chose Battle of Britain. So in this book, there's actually a chart that has the aircraft available from, early 1939, mid, late, early, for all of the years, 1940. And each plane, if it's available, it will have full, which means your whole squadron can be that plane if you want.
Oh, wow.
Or short, which means it's a new plane, and it's you only have limited access to that plane. And as you advance through the turns, each turn represents a certain amount of time. The basic one that they set forth is that each turn represents a month. For the Battle of Britain, Elias and I have shortened it to a week, just because it's a bit of a shorter time period. So we wanted to, each game we play represents a week of sorties, that have happened in the air.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we're going to go through it that way. So we look at this chart, and right now we have these planes available to us. But as we advance, into the later parts of the year, we'll get access to different planes, which we can start to take in our squadron, which is cool.
Nice.
We get our roster of guys that we all generated. And not only do you generate guys, you create the name of your pilot. They give you a concept of the ranks. They all start at a randomly generated pilot skill. Usually it's a 3 or a 2. And the wing leaders or element leaders will start at a 3 or a 4 usually. But you have to roll on that. And then you have to roll to determine their personality.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, because there's interactions that might happen off the field with support characters that can help or hinder your squadron's ability to fight in the next battle. There's and then you have to you can roll to see if you get lucky. You might get a ace trait right off the hop. You might have access to an ace card without even really being an ace. It's just somebody that's really like a special person that might develop into an ace. But you know those people that are really good at something. So you get to roll to see if that can happen. It's hard, but it might happen. It's really cool. And then you roll to determine whether or not you get support staff to start with and what those staff are. And they can be like the squadron surgeon or the wing commander or the adjutant, or they even have local bombshells, which can can affect the player, the pilots.
Yeah. So this is sounding. It's funny because this kind of reminded me of like Mordheim.
It's
from
an
GW,
RPG,
right? Like, there's stuff that's happening off the battlefield that can affect your games and stuff and your character. So do the pilots and whatnot, like, do they accumulate experience or anything like that? Like,
during the game you have to keep track of any time an enemy gets hit and goes down an advantage level. So I didn't really mention it, but when you hit somebody, they get a boom chit. That happens. But then they have to take a maneuver test. If they fail that test, that pilot goes down 1 advantage level. That's why if they're at disadvantaged, they crash, because you can't go down below disadvantage. That's called the ground.
Yeah.
So every time you do that, boom, you get a little bit of XP. And there's a chance that even though you didn't shoot them down, that plane records that it took damage and might crash on its way home. So you finish the battle. None of your pilots got shot down. Awesome. Oh, but I did take damage. Let's see if the plane falls out of the sky. And there's chart you roll on. And, oh, no, I'm good. I'm making it to my airbase, but I have to make a crash landing at the airbase, or I have to parachute out pretty much right away. And then, do I parachute out over enemy territory or friendly territory? Am I captured, a prisoner of war? Essentially, I lose that pilot. Or do they take a couple of game turns to make it back to the base? Right? Or are they injured and they have to recover in the hospital? So they're off the duty roster for a while.
So I'm liking this. Just from what you're saying, I'm really liking this.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like I said, it gives me a very Mordheim feel, but like there's other games that had these kind of little systems in play as well, where you actually have an opportunity to lose your pilot.
Right? Oh yeah.
So I like this. I think we're definitely gonna have to like start something up.
Oh, big time, buddy.
So
big time.
But go ahead.
And so you do develop experience, and then you shoot down enemy planes. Every pilot that survives a battle gets an experience point just for surviving the battle.
Okay.
And then if you shoot down a plane, I believe it's 5 experience for that. And then once you reach different experience thresholds, you can use that experience to upgrade your pilot.
Nice.
So you can basically you spend XP, RPG style.
Now, is that to upgrade your pilot to the next skill level, or is there traits or anything that they can get?
Once you become an ace, you're eligible for a trait, and I believe I'm because we're only a couple games in, so we're not really at that
at the state yet. Yeah,
at that state. But I do believe that you can spend XP on other things. Another thing too is your characters, support characters, stuff can happen to them too. Some of them can fly on missions with you.
Oh, nice.
So some of those are actual pilots. They just happen to be fulfilling a different role. And actually, the German Air Force actually promoted, skillful pilots to be leaders, which sounds like a good idea. So you actually start out with the experience advantage or pilot skill advantage as a German player for those character roles.
Nice.
But then you can lose them through combat if they die, or they can be transferred out. You have to roll to see sometimes some of these interactions have consequences on the those characters as well.
On your support staff and everything.
On your support staff, which is
that's pretty neat. I like that. It gives that, like you said, that RPG feel. That essentially what happened. Essentially, the stuff that pilots went through and the crews went through, and support staff and commanders. Next, it's like your staff has changed, and it's like, oh shit, this guy's real. Like, this guy's, pain in my ass, but he's the new boss.
Yeah, exactly. And also, your aircraft can be damaged. We mentioned that quickly, but an aircraft might be out of the game. You might not be able to take it for the next time you play, or 2 times. So, and you have a limited amount of aircraft you have access to. So maybe you're playing a bigger points game, but a couple of your pilots are injured, and a couple of your planes are damaged. So you might not be able to play at the full points level even.
Did the games get a little bit bigger?
Well, they have basically you start at the very beginning of each week or turn, whatever you determine it to be, where you roll to see what the game is going to be.
Okay.
And you roll. There's 3 sizes: a skirmish, which is like 500 points, so a couple of planes. You kind of just bump into a couple of the enemy. There's what the heck is the middle? An engagement, which is 1,000 points, which is a little bit bigger. You're talking kind of probably 8 planes. Maybe 9 or 10. It depends on the planes and the pilot skill.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay, just like for a game, you pay for the pilot skill and you pay for the, 25 points for a level 2, 50 for a level 3, 75 for a level 4, 100 for a level 5 if you have them.
Gotcha.
And plus the cost of the aircraft, which, for example, Battle of Britain, so like a Spitfire Mark II is 31 points, I believe. And then the big one is called a Furball. where you basically scramble a whole group. So it's 1,500 points.
Whew.
So yeah, now you're talking a big engagement.
That'd be fun.
So yeah,
and so the games that you have had, how long have they been lasting? You'd say.
Well, our first one was a skirmish, which is relatively quick. That's a half an hour game.
Okay.
And then about 15 minutes of going through the record keeping, what happened, which plane did that make it back to the airfield.
So 45 to an hour, roughly.
Yeah. And this game, one of the best things about this game is it plays really snappy and fast.
Yeah, it does.
And Elias is actually pretty good at it. So we actually spend it's probably a bit longer because we do a lot of maneuvering, trying to get the upper hand, not taking too many risk, silly risk.
Countering the other's move. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So maybe it takes a little bit longer with us, but the first one, he kicked my butt. He wiped the floor with me. Sent a plane straight pretty much right away, really quickly. Got behind me and sent me down. It wasn't very long. The second game, I managed to eke out a victory, barely. I was running some bombers, escorting some bombers to the target, and he wasn't quite able to shoot my bombers down. He came hard at them. He almost had one down, but I was able to swarm two of his pilots, and I got one shot down, and one escaped, but escaped death. But it was a very close run thing.
Nice.
So I won that one, but really by the smallest of margins. If he had a plane to go first next before I got to go, it would have been a different ball game.
Nice. No, it's good to hear. It's good to know that the game itself is quick, snappy, like you said, but there's still enough detail in it that it's super fun and tactical as well. It's kind of Warlords Games version of kind of like X-Wing and Star Trek Attack Wing kind of thing.
It's quite a bit simpler. Than using the various, maneuver cards, because I believe those use the maneuver card system. So it's actually quite a bit more free flowing than that.
Yeah,
which I like. It makes it a lot snappier. You still have to think about positioning.
Yeah,
but it's not as precise a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's good. Gives a little bit of campaign to your guys' games. It has expanded more on the game itself, which has been pretty fun to play. I know we've got a couple games in, and I think Chris has played, and a couple other players in the community has played.
Chris hopped in, by the way.
Nice.
He's all in. He did up an order.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to get this book too, and we'll have to set something up because these are the kind of games that are super fun with your close friends that makes those gaming moments, right, that you'll remember for years to come.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned Mordheim, because it really does have that vibe where you're like, just, you level up a guy. Oh man, and it might not even be the guy that you thought was going to be the cool guy.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the campaign, it's like some, rube, but by the end, you're like, oh man, this is my guy. Mm-hmm. I've already went through 2 leaders, big whoop, but this guy, this hobo that started, man, he is, oh my God, you just killed him. I am literally sad. I'm mourning this guy. I love it. we're having a lot of fun, Elias and I. But I do want to mention really quick too. This book also has the master aircraft list,
Okay.
where it has all of the aircraft and their points, and what cards they have. There's all their stats for every aircraft.
That's cool.
So because there are aircraft in the war that Warlord hasn't got to yet.
Yeah.
So if there's a niche aircraft that you want to play that they don't have models for, so don't have a stat card for, that's there. So you can go to other manufacturers or 3D print or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's in there. Plus, they have a couple of cool jet age scenarios.
Like Megali?
Well, beyond Megali even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like India-Pakistan conflict, which is kind of neat. Incorporates some rules for, beyond machine guns.
Nice.
Which is kind of neat.
So that's pretty cool with doing the expansion and even like doing this little bit that you've been talking about here just recently. How kind of Warlord is kind of always testing the waters with certain eras as well, right? Because that's exactly what probably this is to, hey, is there an interest in possibly that era with some extra little rules and stuff? Let's see what we can do with it. We hear a lot of chatter about it and stuff. Maybe there's potential for having a game of its own or something, or an expansion. So it's good. And it's funny because at first I didn't really take interest into Blood Red Skies at first, and then we tried it out, and it was just like, yep, definitely wanted to play as well.
It took me a long time too, actually. Like, I got the Battle of Britain set secondhand off of somebody getting rid of it. And I was like, I guess whatever. Planes are cool.
Well, that's just it, right?
And, it's actually kind of a fun game. I don't know. I was leery of the cards, I think. Like, it read too board game to me.
Yeah, that was the thing too for me. It was just, and that's what I kind of had heard as well, because I played a different game, Bag the Hun there with Two Fat Lardies, and it was quite detailed and whatnot. And then people were comparing this game to that game, and it's like there's no comparison. I'm like, wow, it's a bit different style game. Like, one is super detailed, the other one is simple but fun to play kind of thing, right? And quick, and what you can bang out a game in 40 minutes with a new player, right? Stuff like that. And sometimes you need those games where it's a fast-paced skirmish game. You just sit down with a buddy, you say, you know what, I'm just going to pack 5 planes and go, right?
Yeah, totally.
But the other thing too, there's another point with this is, since they've come out with this book, and from what you've been saying, Jason, about kind of a campaign system and whatnot, I'm interested to see if people have decided to use this kind of thing with like a combined arms map, where guys can play different systems, but this campaign system, like, that's all you're playing is Blood Red Skies, and like, this is the campaign, right? Like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see, interesting to hear what's involved in it, and definitely really super fun to play. So, and then of course, model wise, like you said, 3D printing, other guys who are making stuff, selling stuff. That's the bonus thing too, is just like, whatever you find out there, you can essentially take, use, and play with, right? So,
yeah, there's so many guys that,
which is great.
Do stuff.
Oh yeah,
like and Warlord is great. I like a lot of their models, but also they don't have the range has gotten a lot bigger especially lately.
Yeah.
But there are ones they don't have. But there's guys like the Plane Printer, Rockworks, that do 3D printed type deals.
Nice.
And then there's Armaments and Miniature. They're kind of an older school company, and they have planes at that scale for basically right from they might even do World War One, but I don't know. But they certainly do World War II and up into modern jets.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And if you're interested at all in Blood Red Skies, I know a little bit, but Lead Pursuit guys, I just started listening to them when I was starting to get into it, and they learn the game and go through it in really a lot of detail.
Nice.
So yeah, check that out. Probably
I have to give them a shout out and check it out. And yeah, any of those guys who have prints or anything, I'll get info from Jason here, and I'll put them in the details of the episode as well, so that you guys can easily click and check it out. So no, that's cool. That's a good little rundown of the new book. Definitely gonna have to get it myself to go into more detail. If you guys like the episode, let us know. If you want to see or hear about more Blood Red Skies and our encounters in the clouds, let us know as well. We always like to try to expand a little bit more than just the main bolt action system. I kind of keep bolt action, Victory at Sea, Blood Red Skies. I kind of keep them all kind of together as the bolt action world, right? So, but yeah, let us know if you liked it. If you want to hear more, we can always do more episodes on it as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Also, again, thanks, Jason, for being on the show as always.
No worries.
I'm sure you'll shoot down some of my planes next time we play. So again, thanks to our patrons. It helps out stacking some of the coins that you send us, just to help out with getting some upgrades or little equipment and whatnot that we can try to use to improve things. Sometimes it's just a coffee, so that helps us out as well. But other than that, yeah, I think that kind of wraps up the episode. Again, check out our socials, post pictures, hashtag Trident Wargaming. I want to see some of your planes. Show me. I know Jason has a few painted up. I know he got me some French painted up, which are pretty cool. I still got to paint some up. So I know Jason's been like prodding me with the poker on that. So I'll have to put some together and then check out to see what theater that we may want to play. So
excellent.
Maybe Pacific or something. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. I know it's such a little bit of a short one, but it's a gooder. So come check us out. We put a podcast out every week. So between 40K, 30K bolt action and everything kind of in those umbrellas. So yeah, if you like it, give us a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And keep on painting, keep on rolling dice, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Boop, 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 boop.
See ya.